This might be the best AI image generator out there right now. It's called Recraft, and they claim that this is super realistic, plus it can generate long snippets of text, plus it has a great understanding of anatomy. But is that really the case? In this video, I'm going to put this to the test. In fact, let's do a quick quiz right now. So I'm going to show you 3 images that were generated using the same prompt, but with different leading image models, the new Recraft version 3, Flux 1.1 Pro, and Ideogram version 2. So the first prompt is low-quality Snapchat photo of a teenage man taking a mirror selfie. The photo was shot on a phone and posted in 2015 on Snapchat. So between left, right, and center, which image do you think looks the best? Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. And then here's the second prompt, Will Smith, Iron Man, and Queen Elizabeth having dinner together. Now, to reduce bias, I'm also shuffling the order of the models around. So for example, the image on the left here might not be the same model as the image on the left of the previous slide. Anyways, between left, right, and center, which one do you think looks the best? Here's another one, a woman doing a Warrior 1 yoga pose at home. And by the way, throughout this video, I'm going to reveal the answers so you can see which model you actually picked. Alright, next prompt, a modern web app user interface design for a fitness tracking application. Which one not only looks the best, but actually follows the prompt the most? And then here's another one, 2 hands making a heart symbol. Which one do you think looks the best? Alright, here's another one, an astronaut riding a giant snail with an iridescent shell through a desert landscape. The astronaut is waving a flag that says, I love AI. So which one not only looks the best, but which one actually follows the prompt and includes all the elements in the prompt? Alright, so I'm going to reveal the answers throughout this video, but really quickly, here's the background behind this new image generator called Recraft. So there's this image model leaderboard by this independent evaluator called Artificial Analysis, and this is a platform where users can blind test different image models. So for example, here we have 2 generations from 2 different models using the same prompt. And you need to pick which one you prefer. And after a lot of these blind tests, here we have the rankings on which model was picked the most often. And it turns out that this new model, Recraft version 3, is now at the top spot with an ELO score of 1169. So let's test this out right now. I'm going to link to their site in the description below, and yes, we are on the right site. You know, my first reaction when I saw this homepage, I actually left because I thought this was not the right site. But it turns out it is. This is just a really weird design. Anyways, you can sign up for a free account, and once you're in, you should see this dashboard, and you do get 50 free credits every day for you to generate images. So they actually offer a lot of features like background removal, upscaling, etc., which I'll go over in a second. But first of all, let's start generating images and actually seeing how good it is. So let's start from scratch. I'm going to press create a new project, which will bring me to this page. And to create an image, simply click on this. So by the way, this is just a canvas. You can hold down the space bar and drag your mouse to move the canvas around. If you hold down Control and scroll up and down on your mouse, then this zooms in and out. Or alternatively, if you have a touchpad, you can just zoom in and out with your touchpad. So over here is where you enter in a prompt to create an image. And then here's the aspect ratio. You can choose from all these different standard aspect ratios like 4:3, 16:9. We are going to leave it at 1:1. And then if you're on the free plan, then all your images will be visible to the public. Unfortunately, you'll need to pay to have your images private. And then over here is where you can select the style of your image. So I tend to leave it at the default, which is Recraft version 3 raw. This basically auto-selects the style for you based on your prompt. You can also manually select the art style like photorealism, vector art, illustration, line and fill, etc., etc. And there's a lot of different options that you can choose from. Anyways, for me, I'm just going to go with the default and have it auto-select the style for me. And that's pretty much it. So let's start testing it on a series of very tricky prompts. This is to really test out its limits and see what it can and cannot do. So the first one is a woman doing a Warrior 1 yoga pose at home. Let's click Recraft and see what that gives us. For your information, the Warrior 1 yoga pose looks like this. And so far, I haven't come across any AI image model that can actually generate this except for Google's Imagen 3 and DALL-E 3. Anyways, here's what we got from Recraft, and by default it generates 2 images. So here's the first image, here's the second image. You can see both of them are not great. Her hands and fingers kind of look weird. Same with her toes. You can see it's not really 5 toes here, also here. But other than that, the photo does look quite realistic, so I'll give it points for that. Here's the second photo. Again, note the stubby hand here. This does not look accurate. From far away, it does look pretty decent. Also note that both of these are not the Warrior 1 yoga pose. And for your information, here are the results from Flux 1.1 Pro and Ideogram version 2 using the same prompt. And you can see all 3 of them are not great. None of them can actually pull off the Warrior 1 pose, although Flux does come close, so the arms should be like this for the Warrior 1 pose, but everything else is just awkward. Now, in terms of quality and detail and realism, I think Recraft does look slightly better compared to Ideogram, and then Flux just looks too cinematic and polished. But let me know in the comments what you think. Alright, next up, to create a new image, we simply just click on image again, and this would create a frame in which it will generate an image. So you can drag this around. Let me just drag this to the bottom here. And then I'm going to paste in my next prompt, which is photo of a man giving a TED Talk. Behind him is a big neon sign with the text TEDx AI search. Spotlight style lighting, soft shadows, sharp focus, shallow depth of field. Let's see if it can pull this off. Okay, and here's what we got from Recraft. So the TEDx logo kind of looks weird. The X should also be red and slightly smaller than TED. However, it did understand that TED should be red, even though I didn't specify for it to be red. So it seems to have some understanding of what the TED logo should look like. Now, if you zoom in on his face, it's actually quite realistic. I'll give it some points for that, but his fingers are just awful here. And note that the text is mostly correct. The only flaw I can point out is I did specify a lowercase x, but it did not generate that. And then here's the next photo. The face does look okay. This does look very realistic. The fingers are also decent in this example. I mean, they still look a bit uncanny, but better than the last example. And then the text is also correct. This is spotlight style lighting, depth of field. Overall, not bad. Now, for your information, here are all 3 image models side by side with the same prompt. As you can see, both Flux and Ideogram got the TEDx logo correct. This is actually what it should look like in real life, and it also got the text correct, although there is too much space between AI and search for Flux 1.1 Pro. And then even for Flux, you can see he's got like 6 fingers here. And then Ideogram looks decent, but the face is kind of low in quality, and also the mic is not accurate. I mean, for all 3 models, you could still point out some flaws with it if you look closely. But let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Alright, next I'm gonna click image again, and then let's drag this all the way down here. And then for the prompt, I'm going to type in low quality Snapchat photo of a teenage man taking a mirror selfie. The photo was shot on a phone and posted in 2015 on Snapchat. And this is testing its ability to generate lower quality, amateur looking images. Let's see if it can pull this off. Alright, this is what we get from Recraft, and this is not bad. I'm talking about the overall graininess and low quality of this photo. This indeed looks like a photo that could be posted on Snapchat and Instagram. And his fingers do look accurate. The only real flaw I can point out is the phone looks really ugly, and this doesn't look like a real phone. Anyways, here's the second shot. Again, this phone just looks weird. I don't really see a camera anywhere. Maybe this is the lens or this one. But other than that, I mean, this is a teenage man taking a mirror selfie, and this is a low quality phone photo. And then everything else in the background looks fairly accurate. So yeah, this is quite an impressive generation. And for your reference, here are all 3 image models side by side with the same prompt. And honestly, all 3 of them look pretty good. In terms of how the phone looks, however, I would have to give it to Ideogram. This is the only one that can generate a legit looking phone with realistic looking lenses. Whereas even for Flux, you can see the lenses are kind of off. although the shape of the phone looks pretty good. And then for Recraft, you can see the lens just does not look realistic. And in terms of this grainy, low quality phone photo, I think all three of them pull it off pretty well. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Alright, I'm going to click image again. Let's drag this down here. And then I'm going to paste in my next prompt, a teenage woman holding a handwritten note that says, verify me 8/22, 2024, low quality selfie photo. So again, I'm trying to test out not only the low quality selfie phone photo, but also I'm testing its ability to generate handwritten text and its ability to actually follow the text I specify in the prompt. Let's click Recraft and see what we get. Note that Recraft, at least they claim that it's really good at handling text, so I do expect that it should get this handwritten note completely correct. And here we go. This is pretty realistic. So this is a teenage woman. This is a handwritten note. It nailed the text. Overall, not bad. The only flaw I can point out is I don't know why she's like half wearing this denim jacket, and then the other half of this seems like a cardigan or something. So her clothing is kind of strange here. Anyways, here's the second one, and again, it nails the text in the handwritten note. Plus, the fingers look accurate. This looks really good. And here are all three image models side by side with the same prompt. For Flux 1.1 Pro, you can see there's a slight error with the word verify. Plus this photo kind of looks too plasticky, too cinematic. It looks too polished. And then Ideogram, this one actually looks pretty good. This does look like a low quality selfie photo. But I would have to say, I do slightly prefer Recraft's image more than Ideogram. But let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Alright, so I'm going to create a new image. Let me drag this to the bottom here. And next, I'm going to test its ability to generate well-known people. So some image models like DALL-E or Google's Imagen, they don't really allow you to generate celebrities or real existing people. So let's see if Recraft can actually do this. So the prompt is Will Smith, Iron Man, and Queen Elizabeth having dinner together. Let's see what we get. Alright, here's the first image. Note that I did not specify the style of this, so it just decided to make this more of an illustration versus a realistic photo. However, for the second one, this does look like a realistic photo, and here's where we start to see a lot more flaws. So first of all, Will Smith does not look like Will Smith, although he does have the same haircut. And then Iron Man, his mask does not look accurate. Same with the collar and everything here. I mean, the overall suit has a lot of flaws with it. And then also Queen Elizabeth, her face doesn't really look like Queen Elizabeth. It is portraying, her regular attire with the crown and the regular shirt that she's wearing, but it's just lacking detail in her face. And then also the plates are kind of messed up here. There seems to be multiple plates stacked on each other. So that is Recraft. And here are all three image models side by side with the same prompt. So as you can see, Flux Pro can't really generate Will Smith, nor can it generate the face of Iron Man. However, the suit does look very realistic, and Queen Elizabeth does look like Queen Elizabeth. And at least there's more food on the table than this. This looks quite sad. And then here's what we get from Ideogram, and I would say I am by far the most impressed by Ideogram, at least for this prompt. This does look a lot more like Will Smith, at least compared to this. And then this 100% looks like Iron Man. This 100% looks like Queen Elizabeth. So out of these three image models, at least for this prompt, I would say the clear winner here is Ideogram. Alright, I'm going to click image again. Let's drag this down here. And then let's test its ability to generate some UI UX designs. So the prompt is a modern web app user interface designed for a fitness tracking application. Let's see if it can pull this off. And here we go. This is actually not bad. Now note that the text isn't really correct, but this does follow my prompt in that I specified for it to be a fitness tracking application, and it seems to generate a graph of the user's fitness activity. There are also heart symbols here, so I'm guessing this is like heart rate or something like that. Overall, aside from the text, the design of this image looks pretty impressive. Here's the second image, and Again, it does include some heart symbols here, which might signify, fitness tracking, plus some charts up here. Again, the words are not real words, but other than that, the interface is very clean. This does look like a modern web app. And here's the same prompt for all 3 image models. Note that for Flux 1.1 Pro, this looks like a mobile app interface, which I did not mention. I specified for it to be a web app, so it should be a website and not on a phone. And this is what we get for Ideogram. For all 3 of these, most of the words are kind of made up. You do see some correct words here, like fitness tracking, fitness, and then here we have dashboard, workouts, but everything else is just made up. And both of them do provide charts of what seems to be fitness activity. So I would say all 3 of them are decent, but at least for me, I would have to give the point to Recraft. It's just nicer looking compared to Ideogram, which has just one chart, and then at the bottom, it's just listing all the workouts here. Whereas this one provides more stats and looks slightly nicer. All right, next one, I'm going to click image again. Let me drag this down here. And then the prompt will be 2 hands making a heart symbol. So I'm really testing its ability to generate uncommon poses for hands and fingers. Wow, this is perfect. This is really good. And then here's the second image. Oh my goodness, what is this? Now, this is expected with generative AI. You're gonna get some strange results from time to time, but this one looks really good, especially the realism of this photo plus the details of the hands and fingers. You can see the skin texture and the hair on the hands. This looks beautiful. And here are the 3 image models side by side. You can see Flux 1.1 Pro. This looks too plasticky and too polished. Plus, it seems too bright and oversaturated. Ideogram actually looks pretty good. You can also see the skin texture and the hair on the hands. So this looks super realistic. So I would say in this case, it's a tie between Recraft and Ideogram. But let me know in the comments which one you prefer. All right, let me click new image, drag this down here, and while we are in the process of testing hands and fingers, let's also test its ability to generate feet. So this is a really tricky prompt that most image generators could not get correct. So the prompt is a woman showing her palms and soles of feet. Realistic photo, depth of field. Let's click Recraft and see what that gives us. Thanks to Mureka for sponsoring this video. Mureka is an AI music generator, but you might be wondering what makes this different from Suno or Udio. Well, instead of just prompts, Mureka uses reference tracks to generate new music. This allows users to maintain the details of their uploaded track, which gives you a lot more control than just a text prompt. One of Mureka's standout features is you can choose a consistent vocal style for your generations. For example, you can choose from male and female styles tailored to different genres like pop, R&B, and rap.
I dreamed of crafting a song. I dreamed of craft. I dreamed of crafting a song. But the path.
This allows for greater personalization and consistency within tracks.
I dreamed of crafting a song, but the path felt so hard.
Another cool feature is you can simply hum a melody and upload it to Mureka, and it will generate a complete song based on your input.
Hard to believe, oh my destiny.
Hard to believe, oh my destiny.
Mureka also has a marketplace where users can buy, sell, and trade AI-generated music securely. This provides a platform for creators to showcase their work and for companies to discover new music. Click the link in the description below to sign up for Mureka. When you sign up, you get free credits to try it out. Alright, so here's the first image. You don't see her palms in this image, but we do see the soles of feet, and this looks super realistic. And here's the second photo where it does show both her palms and soles of feet. However, we do see a slight error here, which is all these folds of skin. I don't think feet should look like this. But other than that, everything else looks pretty good. And then for your reference, here are all 3 image models side by side with the same prompt. You can see that Flux 1.1 Pro actually does the worst here. I tried with multiple generations. It could not get a woman showing both her palms and soles of feet. Ideogram actually did pretty well. The only error I could spot here is that she seems to have 6 toes on each foot. I would say none of them are perfect, but in terms of realism and quality, I would have to give it to Recraft. Alright, let me create a new image, and then next let's test its ability to generate really long text. So here's the prompt: a hand holding a pen and writing in a diary. On the page it says, "This is quite a long piece of text, much longer than what typical AI image models could generate accurately. This is a test to see if all the text will show up correctly here. Also, remember to subscribe to my channel." That's a cue to subscribe, by the way. Let's click Recraft and see what that gives us. Alright, and this is what we get. So this is a hand holding a pen, although it's not writing in the diary. And then the diary looks like this. The text shouldn't span both pages, right? It should be like on one page and then going to the other page. So that's a clear flaw here. And then let's inspect the text. This is quite a long piece of text. Okay. Much longer. This should be a capital M than typical AI. AI should be capitalized. The I in image looks weird. Could generate. The G is not correct here. There's just a lot of misspellings everywhere. So overall, in terms of handling longer pieces of text, this is not great. So here's the second image. It is writing in the diary now. However, this text is clearly not handwritten. This is already a huge flaw. There are a lot of misspellings scattered across the text. So this is not great. And here are all 3 image models side by side. So here's what we got from Flux. You can see again, this isn't really handwritten. This looks typed out, plus the text is not correct at all. I think it just gave up halfway. And then here's what we got from Ideogram. It starts off okay, and then it starts hallucinating with a lot of misspellings and made up words. So overall, all 3 models can't really generate long pieces of text. Previously, Recraft tweeted this showcase image where they claim that it can generate long text, but that doesn't seem to be true here. As we can see from this example, we still get a lot of misspellings. Alright, let me create a new image. Next, I'm going to test its understanding of context. So the prompt is photo of a red sphere on top of a blue cube. Behind them is a green triangle. On the right is a dog. On the left is a cat. Let's see if it can generate this. Okay, so this is a red sphere on a blue cube. There is a green triangle in the background. We see a cat here and we see the dog on the left. So these two should be swapped. Let's look at the second image. So this one, again, we have a red sphere on top of a blue cube. Behind them is a green triangle, but the dog is on the left instead of on the right, and then the cat is on the right instead of on the left. Plus, the cat's face looks really strange, so it doesn't seem like it works great with animals. And here are all 3 image models side by side. You can see for both Flux and Ideogram, they got the dog and cat on the right side, plus both the cat and the dog look fairly realistic. Whereas for Recraft, it really messed up the cat's face. I guess one additional error for Ideogram is that it placed an additional sphere over here, which I did not specify in the prompt. Alright, so I'm going to create a new image and let's test its understanding of context further with another prompt. So the prompt is an astronaut riding a giant snail with an iridescent shell through a desert landscape. The astronaut is waving a flag that says, "I love AI." Again, there's a lot of elements in this prompt, so I'm really testing if it can understand and generate all of this. And here's what we get for the first one. This is an astronaut riding a giant snail. He isn't really holding the flag. The handle seems to be coming out of here, which is an obvious error. Plus, even the helmet of the astronaut doesn't really look correct. And then "I love AI," the I looks weird, plus the I here should be capitalized. And the snail's shell is not iridescent. So this result isn't very good. Here's the second one. Again, this is not good. I specified for the astronaut to be waving the flag, but the astronaut ain't holding anything. Plus, the I in AI should be uppercase. Plus, the shell on the snail is not iridescent. So both images are not great. And here are all 3 generators side by side. Note that for both Flux and Ideogram, they were able to generate an iridescent shell, whereas this is really lacking in Recraft. Interestingly, even though I specified "I love AI" in the prompt, it replaced the love with a heart symbol in both Flux and Ideogram. Both of them we're able to get the astronaut to hold the flag, plus the helmet of the astronaut looks way better than what we got from Recraft. I would say the clear winner here in terms of quality and realism is Ideogram, and then the worst one in this case is Recraft. There's just a lot of things it could not get correct. Finally, let's test out its ability to generate different styles of images. So the prompt is a watercolor painting of a whale in the sky. Let's see what it gives us. Alright, here's what we get. Not exactly the watercolor painting style that I was going for. This looks more like a drawing than a painting. It is a whale in the sky though, so I'll give it some points for that. Here's the second generation. I mean, overall it looks good. It just isn't really the watercolor painting that I was going for. And here's what we got for the other two image models using the same prompt, and I like Flux's generation. This is more of the style that I was going for. And then Ideogram also does pretty well with this watercolor effect. This does look very realistic, as if it was some watercolor painting on a piece of paper. However, this isn't really in the sky like I specified in the prompt. So I would say the winner in this case is Flux 1.1 Pro, but let me know in the comments what you think. Alright, the next style we are going to test out is anime. So I'm going to type in an anime girl in the city at night and see what that gives us. Oh my goodness, what on earth is this? That is kind of disturbing. What about this one? Alright, this also looks very disturbing. So let me try to change the prompt a bit and see if it's any better. So I'm going to write a girl in the city at night, Japanese anime style. Let's see if that works. If not, I might need to change the image model up here. So again, even this does not work. Oh my goodness, what on earth is this? This is total nightmare fuel. Alright, let me click on this and see if there's an anime option. And unfortunately, I don't see any anime options, so I don't think it can generate anime. The closest one might be this, so let's just select this one and then click Recraft and see what that gives us. Okay, this is also not anime style, so unfortunately this is a total fail. And here's the same prompt for all three image models. You can see both Flux and Ideogram can generate anime pretty well, whereas Recraft just cannot do anime. So if you're planning to generate anime style images, Recraft ain't gonna work. Alright, let me set this back to the default. And then I'm going to create a new image. Finally, I'm going to test its ability to generate uncommon animals. The prompt is a Komodo dragon in the forest. Its tongue is extended. It appears to be alert and in motion. Realistic photo. Let's see what that gives us. And for your information, a Komodo dragon looks like this. I'm sure most image generators can generate common animals like cats and dogs, but if you prompt it with a more uncommon animal like this, most of them could not get it correct. And here's what we got from Recraft. It's pretty good, but the face is not really correct. The tongue is messed up here. That's the first image. Here's the second image. Also, this is not great. The face is just completely wrong, but at least it tried. And for your reference, here are the other two image models with the same prompt, and you can see that both of them suck. They cannot actually generate a real Komodo dragon. So even though Recraft's generation is pretty bad, I mean, this face does not look too realistic. At least this overall looks like a Komodo dragon in real life, whereas these two are just made up dragon creatures. And for your reference, I've also tested other image generators in the past with the same prompt, and by far the best one that can generate realistic looking images of uncommon animals is Google's Imagen 3. So this looks exactly like a Komodo dragon. Alright, so that sums up my test on Recraft and comparison between the other leading image models, but there's actually a lot more you can do with Recraft. So let's create a new project and I'll show you all the other cool stuff you can do. So let's create an image and then let's just say a portrait of a llama. And then let's click generate. All right, and let's say I want to add a cowboy hat to this llama. So I can just do a Google image search, and then let's say I like this hat. I'm going to copy this image and then paste it on here. And then right now this image has a white background. I'm going to remove this background by pressing this scissors icon at the top here. So let me press that and it will remove the background. Now I can also stretch the corners here to make this bigger or smaller, and I'm gonna place it like somewhere here. I think this is good enough. And then I'm going to search for a pair of red sunglasses, and this is what I get. Let's just go with this one. I'm going to copy this image and then again paste it in here. And then again, I'm going to click remove background at the top here. Note that I need to have the image selected before you can see these icons at the top. So let's click on remove background, and this will remove the white background of the image. And again, I'm just going to resize this and place it on the llama. Let's just do something like that. All right, and now here's the really cool thing. I can drag over all three images and then click merge objects. So this will merge all three layers into one layer. And then after that, if I now select this image and I click on fine tune, you can generate a new image. This is basically like an image to image feature if you're familiar with Stable Diffusion or Flux. And then here is the similarity slider. So this will be less similar and more creative. This will be more similar and less creative, almost identical, as they say. Let's leave it somewhere in the middle. And then let's prompt it with a side view of a llama wearing a black cowboy hat and red sunglasses. And then let's click on modify image and see what we get. All right, so here's the end generation. This is the original, by the way. Here's the results. Here's another generation. Now, if you want this more similar, we can adjust this similarity slider as well as select photorealism to make sure this doesn't just output an illustration, but it actually outputs a real photo. So let's click modify image again and see what that gives us. Perfect. And there you go. Here is a llama wearing a black cowboy hat and red sunglasses. So here's the first example. Here's the second example. And by the way, here's the original image. So you can see it's actually quite similar to the original image. Very nice, very nice. Now we can also edit this further. So here we have a selector tool. So let's click on modify area and let's draw around this hat. All right. And then instead of a black cowboy hat, let's say the llama is wearing a baseball cap, and let's see what that gives us. Very nice. So here's one example. Here's the second example. So as you can see, really easy for you to inpaint or change objects in an image. And by the way, you can also just completely remove objects as well. So let me press Ctrl D to unselect this, and then let's just erase this baseball cap altogether. So we can just select this eraser icon, and then let's just increase the size a bit and simply select the object you want to remove. Now note that I'm going to show you this demo right now. It's not for just removing an object and you're going to retain the llama's forehead here. What it actually does is it just kind of fills up this space with some blurry colors. So I'll show you what I mean in a second. Let me just select this baseball cap here, and note what happens after it erases everything. You can see it's not really good at removing objects in a photo. It just basically removes the cap and then tries to fill in the space with the average of the surrounding colors. So not a great feature, but this is what it does. All right, let's just go back to this original one, and then we can also change the background of this photo. So instead of this desert environment, let's select this to change the background, and then let's set this to a forest. And here's what we get. We've swapped the background into a forest. So here's the first generation, here's the second generation. And it keeps the llama and the hat and the sunglasses intact from the original image. How cool is that? And the really awesome thing is it also changes, the white balance of this llama. So right now you can see this is a much warmer tone. However, once you transition this to a forest, it's a much colder tone. So you can see the whites are actually a bit cooler in color. Plus, this is just a super powerful way for you to swap backgrounds. Before, if you wanted to swap this background in Photoshop, you're going to have a really painful time trying to mask all this fur here. But with this AI tool, it's just super easy. All right, here's another even crazier thing you can do with this. So let's just deselect this image by clicking anywhere in the background, and then let's click on mockup. And let me show you what this does. You can basically set any image or logo onto a product photo. So for example, for this mockup, let's just write a white cup and press enter and see what that gives us. All right, so we have our white cup over here. So let me get rid of this thing. Now what you can do is simply, let me also expand this a bit. You can simply just drag this llama onto this cup and look at that. It actually paints the cup with your llama picture. How cool is that? You can also decrease the size of this. So let's say you just want it here. Well, you can just place it here, and note how the image deforms in shape based on the shape of the cup. How cool is that? You can even add it to the table if you want, although this doesn't really look realistic, but this is a really cool feature. Now, instead of this llama, this looks pretty ugly. Let's just click anywhere here. Actually, let's click on here, and then let's generate a logo. So instead of photoreal, let's set this to, I think vector art would look good. So let's click apply, and then let's write something like a logo for a cafe with the text West Coast Premium Coffee. And let's see what that gives us. Whoa, okay. I think it's because I'm not on a paid plan, so I'm getting all these can't edit marks here. But anyways, you can see the previews down here. It's actually pretty good. Let's drag this logo on the cup and look at that. This is so cool. I can like resize this a bit, and let me get rid of the llama here. So yeah, that's how you create like product mockups with any logo you want. Now, another thing you can do, let me just drag this back out here, is you can also upscale the image. So let me get rid of all this stuff and just work on this llama photo here. So right now it's okay, but if you zoom in, the fur is still kind of blurry. Let's select this to upscale it even more. All right, now this is massive. This is a massive photo. If you now zoom in, look at the quality of this photo. This is insanely detailed. So that's how you would upscale an image. You simply click on this icon. And then final thing I want to show you is they also have an option. Let me just click anywhere on the background to deselect the image. They also have an option for you to create image sets based on a certain style. So for example, let's just click one here. And then let's say I want to create a set of hand-drawn illustrations with the same style. So note that there are 6 images here. I can create a set of 6 images with the same style. So, all right, let's do building, and then office worker, car, donut, dog, tree, and then click Recraft and see what that gives us. And this is what we get. Indeed, we have a building and an office worker, a car, donut, dog, and tree, and all of them follow the same illustration style. Very cool tool. So as you can see, Recraft isn't just an AI image generator. There's also a lot of other powerful image editing tools that you can use with this. Anyways, that sums up my review and tutorial on Recraft. This is definitely among the top image models out there, but I would say it's really close with Flux and Ideogram. Like, this isn't way better, maybe it's just marginally better, and for some things it doesn't work too well like anime. Let me know in the comments what you think of this, and if you've played around with it, what were you impressed by, what were you not so impressed by, and will you keep using this in the future? As always, I will be on the lookout for the top AI news and tools to share with you, so if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Also, there's just so much happening in the world of AI every week, I can't possibly cover everything on my YouTube channel, so to really stay up to date with all that's going on in AI, be sure to subscribe to my free weekly newsletter. The link to that will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.